Howdy campers. Anyway, my one topic video for today is the next gen consoles. It doesn't, Xbox One, PS4, those are the two majors. The Wii U's already out and it's got relatively neutral reviews. It's not good, it's not super good, it's not super bad, it's Nintendo. Um, so there are some good qualities to both of the main next-gen consoles. The PS4's got that the contact, the walk-away ability, where it will transfer your game to the, I think it's the Vita, and you can, game remotely from wherever you are, as long as you've got an internet connection, I think. Xbox One has had a lot of trouble with PR problems, to DRM problems, to too many to list. I ran across an article today, which is what sparked my one topic video, of where the Xbox division of Microsoft said that you would be able to plug in USB external hard drive to expand your storage space for your installed games and digital content and all that stuff, like you can with the 360. Because they're not making it possible to swap internal hard drives like it has been before. So in the article that I found, it said that Larry Erb, Major Nelson, at PAX this year, said that he is pretty sure, I'm paraphrasing here, is pretty sure that the capability of hooking up an external hard drive is not going to be accessible at launch. And the fact that this has been announced at PAX, and both the next-gen consoles are supposed to be released at the end of the year, if not a couple of months into the next year, it has a staggering, it's one point in a hugely staggering problem that I'm going to talk about with the gaming industry. Admittedly, Nintendo, it was the best well-known for my generation. There was Atari before that, but Nintendo's the best well-known. And their consoles, the games have been hit and miss, but the consoles have all been relatively good when it comes to reliability. Admittedly, they sometimes are a little bit backwards about what technology they put into, like not putting HD into the Wii and all that stuff. But at least we're not getting red rings of death from the Wii, on a consistent basis. So, I'm coming to the point of the one topic video, is that it seems to me that it's becoming more and more prevalent in the gaming industry to release unfinished, unpolished merchandise upon the consumer. Whether it's games like Road to Hell or consoles. I'm pretty sure that the gamer consumer market would be just as happy to wait another year or two to make sure that the consoles that are coming out are at the most reliable as possible, or the game waiting another 6 months to a year for the game to be as polished and unbuggy as possible before you release it. And the reason why I think this is because look at the games that have sold a lot of money, okay? Sold a lot of copies, made a lot of money. Fable, the Saints Row series, Skyrim, all of these games have come to the consumer in the highest possible quality is that they could put out. And then you've got games like Road to Hell, which Angry Joe, at the Angry Joe Show on YouTube, go check him out, he's actually really cool. he did a review for Road to Hell, and the game is so horrible. He actually rated it a 1 out of 10. And Joe is a very discerning gamer. He very rarely rates anything to that low of a level. It really takes a lot to piss him off enough to give a low review. But he showed gameplay from when he was trying to play the game to review it, and the game is like something you'd see out of a beta, not a release. And so but I've noticed there are a lot of games that and I'm not talking about slight niggles in the programming stuff like happened with State of Decay, where the game is polished and generally finished, but they had small programming glitches that allow the zombies through walls. But with that's a small, easily fixable problem. What I'm talking about is things like this, like what sparked this video, the Xbox One. First, they tried to put all that DRM stuff on there, and I realized that a good portion of their policies were coming from the game manufacturers and stuff like that as well. Well, not maybe not the manufacturers, but the, the backers, the developers, the ones that control the rights and gain all the money from it. But they put all that DRM stuff in there, and now they're messing up on not putting at least one or two people in their division to put in a programming code to allow for external support. I know I'm not a programmer, I know I'm not an engineer or anything like that, but I do know a couple of guys that I'm really good friends with that work on computers and fixing consoles and stuff like that on a regular basis. And if they can, one of them, if one of them actually reballed, basically reflowed a PS3. So if they can do that within a couple of days, if he can do that within a couple of days all on his own, admittedly it was hard. He doesn't want to do it again without the proper technique. He doesn't want to do it by hand anymore. But if they can do that, then somebody who knows C++ or whatever it is that they use for coding and for programming can sit down in a week or less and write out a very small, simple line of code or paragraph of code or however it's put together to allow for the externals to be hooked up at launch. It's just another, like I said, another example of them not caring enough about putting out a quality product. They just want to get it out as fast and as cheap as they possibly can. They get it out there, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I do support some capital. I don't. I do support capitalism. I do support, free economy and free markets and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, the market is so small for gaming consoles, and that it's hard for other consoles to come in. It's almost like Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony have monopolized the market. So, between the three major companies. So it's really hard for little guys to come in and say, hey, this is what we can do, and everything. It hasn't been until this year when I've been talking to my friend who's really into gaming as well, and he started showing me things like the Steam, the Steam box isn't out yet, but I think it's called Piston 13 or something like that. He showed me that. He showed me the Android-based one. I can't remember the name of it right now. And basically, he and I got started talking, and basically what it is that the Steam box, Piston 13, and the Android one that are all out or being talked. The Steam box is not out right now, but Piston 13 and the other one are, and they're both open source, which means that anybody who has the know-how and capability can modify program for, you know, the system, which will make it easier for people to create games to put on there, and to succeed or fail depending on consumer, uh, the consumer market. It makes it easy for people to buy the console and upgrade it. Like say you buy this the Piston 13. The Piston 13 is $1,000. That sounds like a lot, but when you look at the specs for it, it's okay. It is completely engineered around gaming, and the specs for it rival that of high-end desktops. So paying $1,000 for basically a gaming rig that fits in the palm of your hand, like seriously, the thing is like tiny compared to like the Xbox and the PS3. Now, admittedly, it doesn't have a built-in disc or DVD drive or Blu-ray or whatever, but it does have USB ports that you can plug into the back of it to hook up a Blu-ray or a DVD player, the external kind, you know, to play games that you burn onto those if you want, you know, from the internet. Or you can just connect it to the internet using a Bluetooth or a wireless rig up setup, and just download games that you want to play. And the premise on that is that, sorry, I had something in my eye. The premise for that is that you can literally hook it to the internet, download games from Steam, and play them directly onto your television. It doesn't, as long as it's got controller compatibility, you're not gonna grab Civilization 5 and try to play it on the Steam box, because that's a PC game, and playing it with a controller would be almost like impossible. Improbable, I should say, not impossible. So, there's so many flaws in the major um, things around the gaming community right now. Two of the three major consoles are coming out. Sony's is a little bit more polished, but Xbox has got a massive amount of problems that's being talked about. That it just seems not ready. Like, I realize it's been a long time between the original Xbox and the 360. Well, no. I realize it's been a long time since the 360 and the Xbox One. Um, but personally, I would have rather them waited another year or two to perfect the technology to get everything set up properly, so that when you plug it in, it is completely and totally 100% there. Because, yeah, they did listen to a lot of the ideas that the gaming community said was flawed, or they wanted added to or changed or taken out of the 360 for this generation console. But there are so many things that need more time to resolve before they launch the damn thing, that it's uh, it may not seem like a whole lot to them because of the amount of work they put into it over the years, but to us, the consumer, it's just like, why are you releasing it if it's not ready? Um, and there's things that Sony's doing that is, on one hand, they're a lot of things are good that they're doing. On the other hand, they're starting to emulate some of Microsoft Xbox division's worst policies. And this is coming from somebody who is an Xbox girl. I'm an Xbox girl. Admittedly, I had a PS2, a PS1 and PS2. But the minute the Xbox came out, I was playing it at my friend's house. I bought one, didn't keep it because I was working too much to play it. But, got an Xbox 360 and have been addicted to gaming and Xbox ever since. So, the fact that I'm saying that Sony following some of the policies that Xbox has is a mistake is a big admission on my part. One of the factors that had me wanting to get, I'm not financially capable of doing it right now, but wanting to get a PS3 or PS4, um, is that you could go and play multiplayer online for free, because all you had to do was have a PSN, basically the equivalent of a PSN Silver account, um, and you go online and play Borderlands 2 or whatever with your friends online. With now they're going to make it so that you have to pay a monthly or a yearly, just like Xbox does, which irritates me because you you buy the console, you have they have ads all over the dashboard. They have avatar items that are basically ads that some. I'm using one right now that's really cool. It's a hoverboard from Verizon, but it's an ad. Okay, they've got advertisements for games. They've got advertisements for movies. They got advertisements for different food products and stuff like that. Doritos, Pepsi, stuff like that. They've got ads, and I'm sorry. You companies have to pay them to get their ads and their items up on the dashboard for download or to be seen. Okay, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. So they're getting money from the ads that are on there. They get money from the producers, the game producers and the game developers to put avatar props and items up on there for sale. They get a portion of the profits for that. It's not just Xbox. This is just because I have more experience with Xbox than I do with Sony. They get a portion of the monetary income that games make for using their consoles. That's why exclusives were such a big deal for a while, is because you don't have to pay out a percentage of your at least this is the way it works in my head. I don't know if that's the way it actually works, but in my mind, you pay X amount of percentage to Sony and Microsoft and whatever other console to put your game on their console. It's not a big percentage, but it's there because you're basically using their software, their hardware, and all that stuff to put your game out there, and so they get a portion of each of the sales. So plus like I said, you buy the console, and so for every transaction that you do on the Xbox, for every game you buy, for every anything that's money, Microsoft and Xbox get a portion of it, not including the ads, like I said. Plus Netflix, all that stuff. Okay, so they're making so much money. Admittedly, I don't know what their bottom line is for after they pay off their employees and all that stuff, but then they charge you to play multiplayer online. That was, and that irritates me because you pay out all this money already, and then you have to pay, $50 a year, or I think it's like $15, $12 a month. It's just like it's my biggest niggle about World of Warcraft. You pay $30, $40 per expansion pack plus $20 a month for the privilege of using the game that you paid for. Because they have server costs and all that stuff, and that's why I never understood why MMOs became so popular. Because you pay for the physical property of the game, and then you're paying the privilege to act. You can't even play it without being online. So you have to pay the $20 a month in order to play the game. There's no solo whatever. So Yeah, there's lots of different things. Sorry, I'm stretching. There's lots of different things in the gaming hobby world, because for me it's a hobby. It's not a profession. There's lots of things that are wrong. I just, like I said, the one topic was inspired by the fact that the Xbox One is not ready for release. It's not. And unless they really, 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 really haul butt, it's not going to be ready when it is released. And that's a big, big problem. That's a big, big problem. Because if there's a lot of things that they don't have that the PS4 is going to have at launch, the Xbox One's not going to sell. They've already got bad PR going against them for sales, um, and they don't have as many exclusives as they used to on games, and now they're doing things that should be polished and ready to go right out of the box, and it's gonna flop. It's going to flop because it's just not ready. It is not ready. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy, financially I couldn't buy it anyway, but I'm not going to buy a console that's not ready. My friend and I already agreed, we kind of unofficial pact, that we're not going to buy either of the major next-gen consoles for at least 6 months to a year, because we want to see just how much they've effed up on the things that aren't ready, or the way that the systems are put together. Because within 6 months, you had heard about the Red Rings of Death, and just how prevalent they were, and how horrible it was, and stuff like that. So we figure we give it 6 months to a year, and any massive flaw that's going to brick your system and cost you money to repair when it should cost them money to repair should be prevalent and shown by then. I'm sorry, you want me to pay how much? And then because of your design flaw, my system gets broken, and you expect me to pay $100 to get it fixed? Bullshit. You're the one that designed it that way. It's your problem. You fix it. I don't know how it became this thing where it was accepted that they don't fix their own mistakes. You get a contractor to build a house, or to fix or repair a house, and something goes wrong in it, or something isn't done right, and they're held liable for the work that they didn't do, or the work that they half-assed. Why should anybody else be any different? So I'm done ranting. Hopefully my message got across and didn't become too obscured into everything else, because I tend to go on tangents, as you all know from watching my previous videos. So yeah, I think they should wait. I think that the consoles were announced at least a year too soon. I think they should have waited another year. But that's just me. Also, fun fact, Xbox and PS4 are so close to actual desktops, and with the release of most of the common games being also on PC, I might just not get the console. I might just upgrade my computer to be better than the consoles, and then download the games off of Steam, and get one of those USB, or find my cord for my Xbox controller and just plug it into my computer. Think about that, and I will talk at you later.